Good morning. Welcome to Hack Shack Studios. RT Bear here. Hope you guys are having a good one. What is it, Tuesday? Is it Tuesday already? Yeah, Tuesday morning, the day after the storm. Yeah, we had a hell of a day yesterday. Monday was one of those days that it started off very, very stressful and ended very, very good. So days like that make it worthwhile. Not every day can be perfect. Not that it was bad, but a little stress getting the Indiegogo campaign up and figuring stuff out. Always a little difficult for my wife and I to do. We're not computer savvy at all, not even close. And but we did it. We did it. We got it all up, and it's a success. It's a hit, and it's because of you guys, each and every one of you, for supporting it, backing it, getting the word out. I do appreciate it. We'll go over the campaign, but I just wanted to start off by thanking each and every one of you. I still pinch myself that I was here on the ground floor. This CG indie revolution. I don't know what exactly to call it, but I was here. It was like, where's this going? I have no idea, but it's interesting. It's exciting, and it became a success. And we're still writing it out, and we're still getting people interested, getting new artists, getting new readers. It's fantastic. It's fantastic, and it's all you guys. I mean, you guys are the ones that are coming in, supporting it, spreading the word, defending it when attacked, and all that other good stuff. So let's see. We got Praetor 7. Good morning. So these morning Hullabaloos, you guys are very interactive, so feel free to chime in the chat, ask me questions. We'll go back and forth. It's always a good time. It's because of me. You're welcome. You're a big part. You're a big part. You don't have to say just kidding. It's true, man. You support it. I've seen your name pop up from, geez, like the very beginning. I got my morning beverage, my orange juice, my OJ. Yeah. So yeah, last night, well, we launched Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. My art book launched, I think, around 4 o'clock, and that's Central Standard Time. So a little later than I wanted to, but we got it up, and so we haven't even been 24 hours yet, and I'll go over the campaign. Hold on for a sec. A little congestion. I'll go over the campaign, and so it hasn't even been 24 hours yet, and we're throwing up some pretty good numbers. And I have an idea. It's when you create these things, you kind of have what you need, and then you have an idea of maybe what you'll do as far as numbers and things like that. And I know this stuff is boring to listen to, but it's essential. Ooh, dog's not happy. To kind of create, for me anyways, to create a worst case scenario financially, and if you can make it based on a worst case, then I always feel confident to do it. So I do have a number in mind, and I'm really hoping we can hit it. If we can kind of keep this energy going. I know the first week is crucial, and the 4th of July is this week, so I'm hoping it won't like put a damper on things. But we'll see. We will see. We got Joe. Hey, Joe. That whole Jim Lee thing, man. You were ahead of the news cycle there. So yeah, thanks for sending that. That was the Jim Lee commission prices. We went over that yesterday early on a live stream here. Aloha, Joe. We got Marcus Killigrew. What's up, my friend? So like I said, you guys feel free to Ask me anything. What is that? Brimph on Ravoche to stop all comic promotion. Oh, what? I don't know what that means. If you can clarify that. So are you talking about Paul Ravoche? Are you talking about the Kings last night? I don't know. Hellhound alert. Yeah, dirty old fatty. Welcome to the show. Yeah, okay. You know what? Without further ado, I'm going to brag on you guys. It's not me. It's not me. It's you guys. So this is the reason for the season. This is Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. This is my new Indiegogo launch. This is an art book, 40 years in the making, lavish hardbound art book showcasing the various creative sides to me. So yeah, you guys, this is not even 24 hours yet, and we're 6,222, 41 backers. That's absolutely fantastic. Once again, I'm not bragging. This is all you guys, helping get the word out and backing this book. Let me look at the tiers here. So the featured tier, we got 1 claimed. We got the signed and numbered Oodles book. We got 14. We got the signed and numbered Oodles with the pit print. We got 4. We got the Oodles art book with 11 by 17 Juju print. We got 1 claimed. We got the 3 prints set A, 0 so far. Because we actually have the early birds, that's why these aren't really going to move yet. So we got the B 0, but like the A tier, this is the early bird. So we got 4 of 20. And the early bird, this is like the full print package. So 6 of the mini prints plus the pit print and the Juju 11 by 17, 13 out of 30 claims. So that thing looks like it's moving pretty good. We got the flyleaf black head sketch, 0 out of 5. We got the flyleaf head sketch for white. We got 1 out of 5. So there's 4 more, you guys. The duo, the dynamic duo, 0. And we have 0 for the head sketch. And the jam, we got 1 out of 20. So that's a pretty good start. That's a pretty good start. It's neat to see how the tiers work. What you guys are responding to, what is a little bit slower. But I do think like those the mini print tiers, those things will pick up once we sell out of the early birds. So here's the book. This is the book cover, you guys. This is a 60-page 9x12 hardcover. So this is a quality print job, quality book, and it will not disappoint you guys. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC Image, and Comicsgate days. There are also condoodles, commissions, create your own IPs, and pop culture visuals galore. Art style has been honed to perfection over 40 years in the comic industry, and viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. So we got a quote from Kevin Nolan. It's absolutely fantastic. I still can't believe this happened. Kevin is one of the good guys in this industry. So I do appreciate that. And then we got the interior pages. So each one of these pages is like these illustrations or this artwork is both pages. So it's a double page. So the whole book is going to be laid out with double page spreads. So you can get bigger artwork, bigger images there. So this is kind of some pop culture stuff in here. There's some commissions in here. There's some Comicsgate stuff. There's some a lot of Comicsgate stuff. So we got Gigantor, pop culture. We got Captain Kirk, pop culture. We got Mandy Summers and Del Keown's Gem-Shock there in the lower left. We got Ethan Van Sciver's Cyber Frog. Cool image there. And then we got John Malin and Mark Polton's Graveyard Shift character Lilith. We got some stuff from my Marvel days. So this is from, I think it's 92 or 93, this cable image. So it's going to be larger than life in the book. So this is a digital re-ink of my original line art on the left. And then I asked Thomas Mason, the great colorist, to put some color over it. And he did a fantastic job. That thing's so cool looking. So that's going to be in the book. We got IPs, create your own stuff. So this is Hit. This is a show I did for Adult Swim and Spike TV. It went pretty far, actually. It made the rounds. I got a lot of good feedback from executives and movie producers, but it's just a little too edgy. They didn't want to do it. I'll probably, maybe I should do a show that kind of covers it, because there's a lot of detail to this thing. But it was a lot of fun creating it, and I got a lot of support from different people in Hollywood, which was cool. We got Billy Tucci's She, and so there are some work in progress pages. So you get to see the thumbnail, the inked layout, and then you get to see the finished production, pen and ink kind of thing on the right side. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. There's some marketing stuff in there. There's licensing. There's just a good variety of things in the book. So you're not going to get bored. That's for darn sure. So then we got a lot of prints, some really cool, I guess, wall-worthy prints. They're going to be quality done. So we got the Pit print. The joke is, say it 3 times fast, which you cannot do. And so we got that, and that is going to be available in only 2 of the normal tiers, but in all of the early bird, you will get this print absolutely free. So if you get those early birds, you'll get this print for no charge. So we got the Meet Juju. So let me read this. Black and White hits a milestone and turns 30 this year. In celebration, we are offering this amazing 11x17 commemorative print on heavy stock suitable for framing, featuring the beautiful and scary new villainess from the upcoming Black and White Volume 3, Meet Juju. So this is going to be one of the big bads moving forward on Volume 3, Black and White Volume 3. And there's going to be a couple villains actually in this story, but I don't know. I think her design and everything is pretty darn cool. So you guys have responded really favorable to the design work and everything. She is an interesting character. She's a little complicated too. So she's not just a one-dimensional character. So this is the commemorative 30th anniversary of Black and White. It came out originally in 1994 through Image Comics. So that was the 3-issue miniseries. And then a year later in 95, we launched an ongoing, and that's where we introduced this character Juju. And so this is a reimagining of the character from that storyline. So if you guys remember that, you'll see the differences there. So we have the set A, which is 3 8.5 by 11 prints. It comes with a signed and numbered book. Some of you have asked if I could just do add-ons for the prints, because some of you guys have backed like the Head Sketch tier and some of the other ones that don't come with prints. So I talked to Pamela last night. We were really, really tired. So we really didn't come to any kind of agreement on it, but we did see the merit in it. So we may be doing a set A, a set B, and the Juju print where you can get them all separately. So I guess you would then back the tier you want, like if you want one of the drawing tiers that doesn't come with the prints, and then you could back one of the print tiers separately. Some people do add-ons. We did add-ons last campaign, but Pamela, my wife, my partner in crime here, she said it's a little complicated to keep track of stuff because I guess like if you back a tier and then you back an add-on, your name doesn't automatically connect to, it doesn't make the connection between the two backings. So then you have to kind of look at all the add-ons and then figure out if they backed a tier, so you can basically mail everything together. And so it becomes a little bit of a hassle to try to do that. Not that we're opposed to working harder or anything like that, but working smarter is always a good thing. So here is set B. We got 3 different prints that are available, and that also comes with the signed and numbered book. Here is the head sketch tier. So these are the commemorative head sketches. So these aren't like anything I've done before. These are with the new power suits. So we're kind of previewing the new uniforms and stuff in this. So we're kind of tying it into the future campaign, which is going to launch in October. Yes, October. So I believe the original series launched in October. So we're going to launch this new one 30 years later, the same month. So yeah, it's going to be a celebration, you guys. So we got that. We got 11 by 17 commissions. Commission, we sold it. So it's sold out at this point. I may put up another one, but one of the things I'm trying to do with this campaign is not have too much drawing because we want to fulfill this quickly. And so then we have the 9 by 12 head sketch as well. So these are a little bit more detailed than the head sketches I usually do. And they may have a little bit more of the body. So not quite a bust, but close to it. So there you go. So this is, like I said, the reason for the season. This is the new campaign. This is Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. And yeah, you guys are just supporting the hell out of it. I do appreciate it. Help get the word out. So if you've already backed, if you could tweet it out or exit out on X or Facebook or Indigo or Instagram. Any of those platforms would be great to help get the word out. I would greatly appreciate. So let's see what you guys are saying. Doot, 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 doot. Ooh, the chat is on fire. All right, Marcus, you still gotta let me know what you're talking about here. Oh, okay. Yes, on the Kings last night. I don't know. I mean, I was tired, so I started, just to be honest, I started tuning it out a little bit. I don't really have too much interest in some conspiracies. I do I like governmental conspiracies, but not so much entertainment or space or science or any of those things. I kept trying to figure out and get a definitive answer. If you guys didn't watch last night, we were Paul Ravoche believes that the moon landing was faked, that that it was like reenacted or it was all like a stage show, whatever. I don't really remember the details. And then Ethan believes that we did land. I believe we did land too. There might have been some reenactment of footage or something like that. Who knows? I don't know, but I think it's acceptable. What was Iwo Jima? Wasn't that like that photograph, that famous photograph? Wasn't that staged? Like they tried it the first time when it was happening, and it didn't really work out, so they kind of staged it. Um, so the photo we know, the statue, all that stuff is kind of a staged photo. So, that stuff happens. You make sure that, you have a good picture to remember this stuff by. I mean, I remember, like, even when, our little one was young, you take more than one photo, and sometimes you'll kind of prop them up and you'll kind of stage it a little bit so you can get a better composition or whatever it is. So that stuff always happens. I don't have a problem with that, but I guess it just kept going, and it kept going, and yeah, like I said, I just kind of started vegging out on it. So yeah, I don't know. I guess stuff like that can happen, cover-ups and things like that. But for me, like, I did ask the question, like, motivation, like what would motivate them to not go to the moon and then just say they did. And then I think Ethan's the only one who came up with an answer, and he said it was like kind of propaganda or whatever to show the Russians that we had done it, like to beat the Russians in the space race. But that's not a motivation for the cover up. That's a motivation to do it, but it's not a motivation for a cover up. Like, why would they cover it up? Or why would they not have done it to begin with? Oh no, look at this is how it all happens, right? You start asking questions and you go down a rabbit hole. So I'm always interested in, like I always think everything's motivated by some kind of money or some kind of power or something like that. So why would the government stage all this? Why would they do this? I guess to put the Russians in their place. But if it didn't happen, wouldn't that be at some point disproved? Wouldn't it come out that it didn't happen? And then Russia would know, and then everybody would know us as a liar or a scammer. So I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, usually those those ideas work for me when there's a motive. If there's a proper motive assigned to it, then I can get behind it. Otherwise, I think I don't see any motive why NASA and our government would have staged such a thing. Joe Bernardo Art, I saw that on a post and took a screenshot because I couldn't believe the prices. I mean, I know it's Jim Lee, but holy shiznits. Yeah, I mean, more power to him if he can get those prices, those commission prices. So much history, so much great art. Oh, thank you. Joe says, I'm one of the four pit print. LOL. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Flatty1 says, just hopped in. What's the campaign up to? Oh, the campaign is up to much stuff, you guys. So we're at 41 backers and 6,222. And what are we? Maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 8, 8, 16. So we're about 16, 17 hours into the campaign so far. Not quite 24 hours. So we're at 6,222, which I think is damn good. Tark says, Hail Comicsgate, indeed. Backed yesterday. Pit Print, thank you. I appreciate that. Pit Print. It's just like learning a drum lick. Like, you do it slow and then you just keep doing it over and over again. So if it's a four, like a phrase of like 4 beats or whatever, like do that, do that, do that, do that, then you just kind of do it slow. And then once you kind of get that muscle memory, then you can do it faster and faster and faster. So triplets and quads and stuff like that. Usually you start slow and then you kind of build up the speed. So maybe the pit print thing will go the same way. So I'll start slow. Pit print, pit print, pit print, pit print, pit print, pit print. And I'll just keep doing it, and then I'll speed up. Past Master, what's up, man? Always late, but always welcome. Yes, hit that like, you guys, and let people know. Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and click this link. Everybody that hasn't clicked this link, please do so right this very second. Get in there, check it out. What happened on the Kings last night? Just we were debuting Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too, so we got quite a bit of backers last night. And then Mummy News, of course, which is always a hit. And then we did some Trump talk, I'm giving you the highlights. And then we ended with an epic discussion about the moon landing and how Paul Ravoche believes it was all fake. I've done the research. Science is lying. Wouldn't be the first time. COVID. Listen to the science. I am the science. Yeah. That's a good belief to have. Praetor says, I believe the moon is made of cheese. Yeah, and you know, when we shot that rocket, it looked kind of like a bullet, and it went right into his eye, into the cheesy eye. That must have hurt. "72 miles is the ceiling for what? What are you talking about? What are you guys talking about? We went from cheese to 72 miles? It stopped the whole show." It kind of did. It kind of did. Both the theories, yeah. I don't know. A lot of science came out of a lot of that space exploration. So I don't know if necessarily going to the moon, but definitely going to the outer atmosphere. You know, because we have, you know, satellites, and there's technology that backs that stuff for sure. Joe says, no, we landed on the moon, but Kennedy was shot by more than one shooter. Oh my gosh, you guys are starting shit. Graham was pissed. I'll tell you, Graham doesn't really get angry. He just kind of shuts it down. Or he just, you know, shuts down. Praetor says, was that early in the show or later? It was the end. Like the cluster F was the end. Jackie capped John and then dropped the gun. Jackie capped John. That's kind of funny. I can imagine Graham being displeased. It's weird because there was one moment where Graham was going to argue with him, or at least kind of defend his point of view. And then some people were talking, because sometimes like there's just people talking over. And so Graham isn't one to like battle, you know, with that type of stuff. So, excuse me, he just kind of backed off, and then he didn't say anything about it the rest of the time. So I don't know Graham, you know, like real well, but I do know that he's kind of a practical person. And so I think he realized that there was no point in arguing it. I'm kind of the same way. I'll kind of engage things to a certain point, But then when I see that it's kind of like either you're arguing with somebody or having a discussion with somebody that either isn't getting it or is just kind of being unfair in the discussion, then I kind of shut down too. It's just like, what's the point, you know? Flatty one, I like all the CG content that shows, but feel more emphasis on comics would be more interesting to me, like concept creation and all the nuts and bolts of how comics are made. Well, then you must like the professionals, because the professionals, we always get into that stuff. It's always comics. We're always talking about comics. Speaking of that, I believe Andy Smith has the show tonight. So he's hosting the show tonight, and we'll be talking about comic books, inside, baseball kind of stuff. And then next week, the following week, is me. So I'll be hosting the following week. And I'm going to, believe it or not, I'm going to do a stretch. My topic's going to be art books, comic art books. Little self-promotion there. Yeah, so I have bookshelves full of art books. It's one of my favorite things. When I find interesting art books, I'll pick them up. I always find inspiration in them. And I haven't, like, San Diego Comic-Con is where I would buy most of my stuff. So I haven't been in 4 years, maybe 5 years, to that show. So I haven't bought an art book in a while. And there's a place called Stuart Ing bookstore. It's online. And they have a great, maybe I'll treat myself to some books later. And they got a great array of books. They actually carried oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. We sold those in the Stuart Ing store. So the first printing of that book completely sold out. And so I think between the campaign that we originally did and then me doing shows, I offered it on my website, and Stuart Ing, we completely sold out. So I think I have like 10 books, 8 or 10 books of my own here. So Joe says, oh, wait, Past Mess says, why would they lie to us? I don't know. Why are they lying to us now? Joe Biden is, he's not impaired. He's not going senile. Nothing like that. There's no recession. There's no price hikes. Bidenomics is working. That's just a couple of the lies. So the thing about those lies is they're easily proved to be lies. Yeah. Joe Bernardo says, if we landed on the moon, then we wouldn't have the space programs we have now. Yeah, they argue, what they say is that we didn't land on the moon, but that we did go to outer space. So I don't know. The thing is, I believe the reason we haven't been back to the moon, because there's like, well, we never went. That's why we didn't go back. I don't think there's anything there. Like, why would you go back? There's nothing there. It's very, very expensive. It's very dangerous. Why would you go back? There's no real, once again, no motive. What would you get out of it? Why would you do it? How could you how could you justify spending the money? But the government doesn't need to justify anything. They can pay off school debt, for goodness sake. So they just do shit these days. That subject came up on another live stream too. I don't know, these things go in cycles sometimes. Marcus says, yeah, Graham wasn't too happy and left early. I imagine Graham has a low tolerance for BS. Yeah, he does. Yeah. And I think that's a good trait to have. I have probably too much tolerance to BS. What's that joke? The George Carlin joke where he talks and he's saying it's hard to find out like BS, uh, full of shit or whatever. And he goes like you listen to somebody or crazy or full of shit or something like that, and or truth crazy or full of shit. It's something like that. So he makes this imaginary conversation. You listen to somebody, they're talking, and they seem to be making sense, and you're going, yeah, yeah, I got it. And then they start talking a little bit longer, and then you're like, they might be crazy or like full of shit or something like that. And he goes, and then he listens to him a little longer, and he goes, yep, they're full of shit. So, and then I think that Dane Cook has a joke similar to it. I like it. It's like where he makes this scenario like waiting in line to pay for something at Walgreens or something like that, and there's somebody in line talking crazy, and so nobody's really like listening, and they're just kind of like like rolling their eyes like this dude's crazy, this guy's nuts, right? And he said, but there's always that person that's around the corner and listening, going, that guy's making a lot of sense. uh, I think that joke cracks me up, and it's like that guy's talking a lot of sense. So it's like that's how like crazy stuff could happen, because somebody's talking stuff that seems nuts, right? And then there's like one guy that's like, yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That sounds like a great idea. And then, spreads, that guy tells somebody, he wins somebody over and so on and so forth. And before you know it, everybody's drinking some Kool-Aid or following what's his name? The Helter Skelter guy. Praetor says, or at least what he believes to be BS. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like these kind of discussions too, especially. I mean, if you're not going to have fun with it, there's no point to it because you're not going to win anybody over, right? And you're not. No one's really going to concede to the other person because nobody's talking from any real authority, right? So Paul's just talking about stuff he saw, right? Or Ethan's talking about stuff that he saw, but neither one of them is an expert on the topic. So who's right? Neither one of them have any real credibility. So if you're not going to have fun just talking back and forth, then there's really no point in it. I like people get really upset and angry over this stuff that can't be proven. Like they're just like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's this. And it's like, listen, dude, you can't prove your point of view. I can't prove mine, so why don't you just stop? Like, why are you getting so crazy over this? It's just a difference of opinion. It doesn't hurt you really in one way or another. Watch the old nuclear test footage and you'll see a car miraculously appear as the blast hits the house. Ooh, it's kind of scary. I thought that was like that was a oh that they built, is that the one that they built the neighborhood and then blew it up? So are you saying there was actually a person that was caught in that explosion, like a real person? Or did maybe that car was remote control or something like that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, listen to Joe Bernard. Come on, hit the like. I only see one like, and it was me. Oh man, there's only one like. Come on, you guys. Hit that sucker. Give it a thumbs up. Ethan ruined it as usual. I don't know. I don't think he did. Is that cheese? Is that fromage? I don't know what. Yeah. The Mummy News was good though. The Mummy News is always good because no one takes it too seriously. I think that's it. Let's see what Logic's Finest says. I'm surprised Ethan can fit through doors because his ego is so huge. EVS is the embodiment of the narcissist prayer. Uh, I don't know. I enjoy hanging out with them. You know, the thing is, like, in this day and age, I just want to have a good time. So I try not to judge too much, especially on the silly stuff. So if I don't know, 80%, of everything is going well, then the 20%, I don't care. Like the thing is, even when you're in a relationship with family or, your wife or your husband or whatever it is, you're never going to agree 100%, and there's always going to be some crazy stuff going on. But as long as the overall is good, then you're fine. Like my wife says crazy shit to me. Sometimes she goes nuts. And then I'm like, it's just a moment in time. Let her vent, let her get it out of her system. Don't engage it. Just kind of listen and just, okay, yeah, this is bad. This is whatever. Fine. And then just kind of like, are you done? And then walk away. And if it gets too personal, then I'll get up and walk away as well. And then if she says anything, I'll just say, uh, I'm not going to sit here and let you abuse me like this. So I just get up. I know it's Aunt Pam, and I probably do some crazy shit too. Uh, but as long as the majority of it is good, then who cares? It's a moment in time. It'll pass. Jolly Green says, morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the show. Hey, Jolly Green, have you checked out Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too? I just put it in the chat. Click that link. And if you like what you see, back a book. Also, I'm asking a lot of you, Jolly Green here, but give this video a thumbs up. That goes for all the rest of you as well. I grew up around criminals. I have to say, the neighborhood I grew up in was definitely not on the up and up. Let's just say that. Yeah, there were a lot of gray areas in my neighborhood. It was not squeaky clean. Yep, that's a good show. Wow, what is that? K-pop junkie. Arts books are the best. Thank you. I do appreciate that. And have you backed the book? Have you given this video a thumbs up? Please do so. Oh, here we go. Professionals on Andy Smith's channel tonight at 7. That is Eastern Standard Time. And let me check. I think he posted what the topic, excuse me, is going to be tonight. Let me see. Welcome to the show. Talking about time passes in comics roundtable discussion. Talking about how time passes in comics. I'm not sure what that is actually. Like if we're talking about comic book characters or how time passes for the artists or just the art form. Not sure. Thank you, Past Master. You are on it. This is my original artwork site, you guys. So if you're in the market for original artwork, click that sucker. My favorite line, were you lying to me then or are you lying to me now? Yes, yes, yes. Like with my wife and like close friends, I know their MO. So most of the time I don't say that they're lying. It's just kind of like it's an exaggeration. Like when I was young, my mom used to call them white lies. I don't know where the white thing comes in. Like they're white lies. I guess that means that they're. I understand the meaning. Like it's kind of like a harmless lie, but I don't understand where the white part comes in there. Joe says there were aliens on the moon and scared the astronauts. LOL. There was a movie. You know what? I was just remembering the way they marketed Transformers. And do you remember the little teaser where there's like the moon landing, and then there's like this shadow of a transformer or something that crosses over, like the camera picks it up, and I was like, that is cool marketing. The Ramblin' Man. There used to be like a lot of songs about Ramblin' Men, like rock stars, they would just kind of travel around, get lovin' on the road, on the run. The universe is a rambling man. I'm not sure what that means though. Do 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 do. Comics Raider, welcome. Hello, Art and chat. Hey, Comics Raider, have you clicked this link to go see the new book? And have you given it a thumbs up, this video? Please do so. John Porton says, howdy, y'all. Hey, John, the same thing. Have you checked out this? I got to do it, guys. I got to do it. I'm in promo mode. Logic's finest. Ethan can make you laugh with jokes. The jokes don't make up for him being a raging narcissist and worse. But if you want to overlook that, then fair enough. That's textbook narcissistic abuse. I just don't take it seriously. It's not abuse if you don't care, right? I don't really care. I think there's probably a lot of entertainers, musicians, actors, things like that you would probably absolutely hate them personally as people, but they still are really entertaining and you can enjoy what they do. So, I think it's fine. I think it's all good. Oh man, we just got a backer. We just got a backer. Let me go. If somebody in the chat backed, let me know and I'll praise you. I'll heap a bunch of praise on you. So this is Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. We just got, we went from 41 backers to 42 backers. We're at 6,362. Sweet Mama Jamma. You guys are the best. So here's the book. And I'll probably recap the campaign before it's all said and done. But thank you for the backing. I do appreciate that. And let's try to get a couple more before this live stream is over, before it's all said and done. Let me see what the backing was. Richard. Let me see. It was for the Oodles with 6 prints and the 11 by 17. Cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Danzig is a jerk. I still like his music though. It's weird, Squibs, because Dan Frege has stories about how Glenn Danzig was a complete and utter jerk, right? I forget the story, but anyways, like Dan Frege really dislikes the guy, right? Well, I did a WonderCon. My family came with me. I was just walking around. I wasn't vending or anything. And so my daughter Amanda she was getting older, so she was kind of like, and she was with a friend, so she was like, my parents aren't cool to hang out with, so I'm gonna go do my own thing. So it's like, yeah, cool, fine. And so I'm walking around, and then there's Glenn Danzig. And I walk up and he sees my bag. He goes, oh, R.T. Bear, because the dude's into comic books. And I'm always surprised when people know who I am, even though I have a big badge that says my name, but knows what I do. And so we just started talking. I was like, yeah, my daughter just adores the Misfits and, all that stuff that you've done in the past and everything. And so he goes, oh, well, where is she? And I said, she's walking around. And he said, oh, I'll draw her something. So he drew like this skull with this like Misfits haircut, and he was drawing it. So as all that was kind of happening, my wife called my daughter and said, you got to get over here. Your dad's hanging out with Glenn Danzig. And so she got there just as the drawing was being done. And Glenn was like, maybe it was a week from that date, but he basically put us on the guest list. So he put Amanda and I on the guest list. It was where was it was a good venue in California. What was it called? Irvine Meadows, I think. It was called a bunch of different things, but like I always remembered as Irvine Meadows. It's an outdoor amphitheater, and it's a great venue. And so he was doing a Misfits set, and I guess there's a guitar player named Doyle or something. I don't know the Misfits, but he had one of the other Misfits guys up on stage with him, and they played a Misfits set, and they played a Danzig set. And man, I'll tell you, I have a ton of respect for that guy. He did, what was it, over 2 hours, like 2.5 hours or longer, nonstop. There wasn't really a break between the two sets, and he sang the whole time. And his voice was kind of getting raspier as it went, but it never went out. I mean, that guy had a dig down I've rarely seen in a singer, and his voice was gone, but it was still coming out. And I have to say, like, Danzig, the music, the Misfits music, all that stuff, it doesn't really do anything for me. I don't really care for it. I think that song, that Mother, that Danzig song, that's like the only song I know. But he was really, really kind and way more generous than he needed to be, like giving us free tickets, putting us on the guest list and all that. That was so generous, absolutely fantastic. And my daughter had a great time, man. She knew all the songs and stuff. I didn't really know much, but that was one of those good moments. And thank you, Glenn Danzig, for making that happen. So I don't know. I think for every person that meets somebody, they go, oh, that guy's a jerk. And then somebody is like, they're like a hero. So I think it depends on the day and the situation. Steven, what's up? What's up? Good morning. Hey, Steven, have you checked out Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too? That's my new art book. Launched yesterday, and we're heating it up, man. We are a sensation. Yeah, he's a huge comic nerd. Didn't he buy or license the Frazetta stuff? And then he had a publishing company, I think. What was it called? It wasn't Devil's Due, but it was something like that. I had some friends that worked for him. He paid pretty good. Doyle, yeah, okay. Doyle's a guitar player. Yeah, you guys know. He's the guy that kind of he's like the art direction of the band, right? Because he's the one that has the hair over like one eye or something. Joe says, okay, art chat, Van Halen, Hagar, or Roth, and why? Oh my gosh, that is a loaded question. I have Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. This is a good question. All right. It's a complex answer. So that's always a good question. Okay. Van Halen. Okay. Uh, David Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar. Okay. David Lee Roth in the early days, that first Van Halen album, the debut album, is untouchable. It is one of my all-time favorite albums. I can literally say when I heard that for the first time, it blew my freaking mind. It was just amazing. I learned all those songs on the drums. I played in all kinds of cover bands. We covered all those songs, you know, Ain't Talking About Love, Atomic Punk, you know, Running with the Devil, their cover of You Really Got Me, all that stuff, just absolutely fantastic. Roth was on fire. That first album, he was singing, he had range, he had power. And the second album, you could kind of see the like it started getting a little softer, I thought. Um, but it was still pretty good. There were a couple songs that stood out, and I thought that the albums that came out after that, there would be like maybe a gem or two on each album, but the albums kind of felt like a lot of filler. Always great to hear the band play, but the songs just weren't quite there. And it seemed like they were going into like some kind of, it was more campy, silly songs. And so I didn't really appreciate them as much. When it was happening, I thought it was pretty good. But looking back, it was like real hit and miss after the first, especially the first album. The second album is probably, I don't know, two-thirds good, based on the first album. So uh, David Lee Roth just kind of just kept, he became a parody of himself. He became kind of a joke. He wasn't cool anymore. It's weird. I saw a documentary on Jim Morrison and the Doors, and the guy said it this way. He goes, there was a fine line with Jim Morrison. He could be the coolest guy in the world, or he could be a complete and utter clown. So I think that Roth was like that. Like he could be really cool, or he could be a clown. And the later stuff, he was more of a clown, I think, than he was cool. So that's my Roth stuff. As far as the music between Van Halen and Sammy Hagar, or I mean David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar, I think I prefer the David Lee Roth days. As far as the music, it's just kind of, it was more of what I was into. I do have to say though, the Sammy Hagar days, those are real songs. You know what I mean? Like those structurally, those are good songs. Like Sammy Hagar knows his shit. Like that guy can write a good hard rock song. He really can. And so, you throw Eddie's guitar playing in that great band. There was some really good stuff, but it was a little bit more commercial for me. And when I was young, I was like, I just wanted cool, edgy stuff. I didn't want anything that was really commercial. So it almost felt like, Van Halen was selling out in a way, even though I wasn't a huge Sammy Hagar fan, but I could appreciate, what he did. I never went out and like, oh, I got to get the next Sammy Hagar album. Although when Sammy Hagar sang for Montrose, there's a song called Rock the Nation. Look it up. There's a song called Rock Candy. Look it up. Holy shit, man. Those songs are ball busters. They're absolutely amazing. So that's Ronnie Montrose. The band's called Montrose. I think it was Sammy Hagar's first band. I never got the opportunity to see Montrose, but I did, believe it or not, I saw Sammy Hagar open for Van Halen. Or was it vice versa? It was at the Anaheim Stadium. It's kind of a legendary Van Halen show. It was the first album. It was their first big tour. And the Anaheim Stadium is baseball. It's a baseball stadium, so a big day festival thing, and so they all parachuted in. So the band parachuted from, I don't know, an aircraft, and then it had a big VH on the parachutes or something like that. And then they had limos go pick them up. They drove them back, and I was high enough that I could actually see where they were landing, and the limos were going to pick them up. I don't know if it was really the band or not, but it took forever for them to get to the stage. And so they get to the stage, they play their set, and so then, like I said, I don't know who played first. I think Sammy Hagar played first, because there were a couple bands that played like opening, and I think one of them was Sammy Hagar. I think Blue Oyster Cult was the headliner of that show. But anyway, Sammy Hagar came in and killed it. It was a great set. I think Sammy is one of those. He's just a consistent writer, player. It's just like, it's always pretty good, but it very rarely goes into like sensational. It's always just really good, solid stuff. Like I said, Rock Candy, Rock the Nation, Montrose, those were standouts. Some of the solo stuff, Red, I think that's the name of the song. Like I want to give it to I Can't Drive 55, but that's that stuff that's really commercial. It's almost pop, So some of that I can't really get behind. That song Right Now, Hagar with Van Halen. I'm sorry, you guys. I love music, and Joe, you started all this. I love music, and so that Right Here, that song is really good. It's a really good song. It's not necessarily a hard rock song, but it's got a really hard backbeat. Ba boom, bop, ba doo doo doo, bum, ba boom, bop, ba doo doo doo, ba ba doo, ba 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 bam, ba boom. Yeah, it's got a great backbeat, and a lot of that is Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen. For that song. But anyway, like I thought that with Van Halen, Sammy took it to a very commercial place. I think they had more success with Sammy Hagar than they ever did with David Lee Roth. I think there was an album after the Roth or the Hagar years. David got back in the band, and it was decent. I think Michael Anthony was out of the band, so I think Eddie's son was playing the bass on that stuff. So that was a pretty good album. It wasn't bad. I thought some of the David Lee Roth solo stuff was good, but it was mostly just kind of the band. The band he put together with Steve Vai and stuff was really, really good. So I don't know. I would have to say overall Van Halen with Sammy Hagar. I mean, with David Lee Roth over Sammy Hagar, for sure. I think Sammy Hagar is a brilliant talent. I think the man knows music. I think he knows how to write. And also, he's got a tremendous voice. He's got a natural voice. Like, for me, like in the day, he looked like Roger Daltrey, because he had the big curly locks. And he had a voice almost like Roger Daltrey, and like a Roger Daltrey with like kind of like a Dio. Like it wasn't quite Dio, but just that power. And if you see Sammy Hagar live, that dude can belt it out. Like he's got some power. I think like Chris Cornell, like early on, Chris Cornell was kind of that type of singer. R.I.P. But I'm going to go see, having said that, I'm going to go see Sammy Hagar next month. So is it? Next month. He's going to play here locally. There's an amphitheater here in the Woodlands. It's a great venue. And Sammy Hagar is going to come in and play with Michael Anthony, and they're going to play Van Halen songs. So I guess enough time has passed, so they're going to do a Van Halen set as well. So that'll be fun. So thanks for that question, Joe. Squibs, I have respect for him. I just wouldn't want to hang out with him. LOL. I think that's talking about Ethan, or is that talking about Glenn Danzig? Who knows? Skulls is a great tune. Oh yeah, it was called Verotica or Ver Verotic? Verotic, yeah. Steven says, Art, was there a secret link for the pre-sign up people? No, just early access. So we gave you guys early access to it, and so you could get those early bird specials. So there's no secret link or anything. And also, if you signed up early, you get that print. So everybody that signed up early and backs the book or backs a tier will get that exclusive mini print. Was it Veronica? Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, it was his comic. Veronica or Verotic. Verotica sounds like a name. It's like Veronica. Flatty one. Well, they all used to have that hair. I think Jerry is fighting baldness. Well, I'm glad you said that because I think that Glenn Danzig is too. It was kind of funny because they were decent seats, but they were up a little higher, when we saw Danzig. And so when he turned around, there was like a shiny spot just right here. But it was dark. And I was like, hair doesn't usually reflect light that way. And the rest of his hair wasn't doing that. And so then I was like, oh shit, I think he's got a bald spot in the back here. And he does that paint. He paints his head so it looked like the hair. And so because when you sweat, your skin will glisten. It'll, like, the light will hit it. And so I think that Glenn Danzig is he's got a little bald spot as well. But hey, we all get old. Diamond Dave always wanted to do a whole cover songs album. Sammy encouraged Eddie to expand his talent, and all he had to do was write the lyrics. Yeah, I think it was a good combo, and I'll tell you, if there was never that first Van Halen album with David Lee Roth, if that didn't happen, I could probably give it to Sammy Hagar. Bad Motor Scooter. Yeah, that was another one. Yeah. Get on your bad motor scooter and ride and ride and ride. Was that Montrose or was that early Hagar? Hagar era was way too pop rock for my. Yes. Pop rock. That's the term. Jeff Plus says Montrose, the guitars flamed out, but the band had a huge influence on the Van Halen guys. Yeah, and I forget who the drummer was, but he was a drummer of note too. Is it Rock Candy, that drum intro? Yeah, some good stuff, man. Good stuff. We used to cover Montrose as well. I was in a band, a cover band. Montrose was Sammy's first band. If you can't tell, I'm a Hagar fan. His tequila and rum are top notch. I went to the Cabo Wabo and I had all that tequila. And there are people that say like there's difference like in tequila. I think it's all about the same. Rum, I can tell the difference. Whiskeys, I can tell the difference, but like tequila, I can't. 3 Lock Box. I don't know what the hell that is. There's the Sammy Hagar song, the heavy metal song that he wrote for the movie. I thought it was hilarious. I heard him interviewed, and he's like, I had no idea about the magazine. He said, so I just wrote a song about heavy metal. I thought that was cool. I think that Sammy Hagar is a cooler human being. Like that guy, you talk about an aging rock star. Holy shit, man. Like he still seems like he has the life. He's got the Cabo house on the beach and stuff like that. He's got his wife, and he just hangs out, plays shows, got his own, club, has his own tequila. I mean, just a cool life, man. That's weird. Like when people go, okay, the Beatles, which Beatle would you wanted to be? And I always say like George Harrison, because he kind of had the best of everything, right? So he didn't get overly damaged, by the success. He wrote some great songs in the Beatles. He wrote some great songs after the Beatles. He played some great shows, and he basically bankrolled all the Monty Python stuff early, and I think he was a producer, like a film producer, and just kind of seemed like he had a cool life, and I like that. So like obviously, what's his name? John Lennon was just tormented. I think Paul maybe had a good life, but I think he was kind of haunted by the success as well, chasing something that was never really going to happen. I think that guy I think they both needed each other, but John needed Paul and Paul needed John. I think they were like a great collective. Like each added something to the other, and they each filled that void. Because I think like Paul can be too soft at times, and I think that John can be too nonsensical. Well, not he can. I want to say edgy, but maybe dark. And John wasn't like overly musical, but Paul was. You know, John could turn a phrase. Like there was just like this great combo of talent there. Uh, why can't this be love right now? Dreams, human beings. Human beings is a good song. Yeah. Human beings. Wolfgang Van Halen is a phenomenal songwriter. What is it called? Is it Mammoth? Is that the band? Uh, yeah, I think it's this close. You know what Mammoth is to me is a modern day Foo Fighters. Like it feels like it's that, but like David Grohl could write hooks. Like I think like Wolfgang, if he could write some better hooks, like there are some good hooks in songs, but they're just not consistent enough. Um, so I think, but the thing is, he's also very prolific. So he doesn't feel like a one hit wonder. So he feels like a talent that's going to keep going. So I'm really interested in what he's got to say. I think his videos are funny. I think they're interesting. I think he's got a good outlook on life. So Joe says Dave was only there for the reunion album, but they couldn't take Roth and his antics. I saw that tour as well. I went with Norm Rapman. Norm and I went to go see that concert. It was pretty good. I mean, Dave is gone. His voice is just completely gone. Llama Rose says, "Oh, what's this live about?" I was just getting recommended to me. Yeah, we're live right now. This is the Hullaballoo Morning Show. I'm your host, RT Bear, and we're just hanging out, and I'm just hanging out with you guys. So feel free to chime in the chat. Please give this video a thumbs up. And if you have not checked out my new campaign, it is called, where are you? Where are you? It's called Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. That's my art book, and it launched late yesterday, and we are cleaning up right now. We're doing really, really well, you guys. It's all because of you and your support and your backing. Man, I am just on cloud nine. I cannot believe this community. Truly, truly amazing stuff. So if you have not done that, click that link and go check it out. And good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Jeff Potts chiming in on the Hagar Solo in his prime had a fantastic live show. I did see the show, and it was pretty good. He had a solid band, but once again, I think like when I was younger, I needed something, like I needed excitement, and Sammy had the energy, but there was just one element missing. And so even when Sammy joined Van Halen, uh, it kind of it kind of had that edginess, because there was obviously the Van Halen band, but still, I don't know. There was maybe just a little of that rock pop that we were talking about. Joe says, "Okay, Art, sorry to lay another musical question on you. Ozzy Black Sabbath or Dio Black Sabbath?" I don't like Ozzy's voice, and that's one of those things too. Like Ozzy is like one of those fine lines between like kind of cool and kind of a clown. He's kind of a camp, and he's definitely a parody of himself these days. Dio's better. Dio hands down. I never saw Sabbath with Ozzy, but I saw Sabbath in the day with Dio, and those there were the first two Dio albums, Heaven and Hell and The Mob Rules. Absolutely fantastic. And also, it felt like Sabbath had a new lease on life too. Like that band stepped it up. Iommi and Butler and I forgot the other guy. Yeah, they stepped it up because that music was great too. Yeah, the Dio Sabbath for me. There were some great songs in the day with Sabbath, but the execution, it was a little too, it was like dark hippie music. So it kind of had this element of like leftover 60s hippie kind of sensibilities, and but just like with really heavy like music. So not that that was a bad combination, but for me, it never really connected until Dio got in the band. Michael Anthony and Sammy are in the band called Red Circle, and they released a new album a couple years ago. I think that's the band that's going to be playing next month here. I think it's Red Circle, and they had Chickenfoot, and that was with What's the Surfing with the alien guitar player, and then they had the drummer for the Chili Peppers. Was it Chad Smith? Is that the guy's name? And then Joe Satriani. How could I forget? Now I like the Who. The Who's got some cool stuff, man. I never want to give it to the Who because I don't know. It's like there's something about the band that doesn't seem. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, like legit or something. Maybe they just made it look too easy or something, like they were just kind of just doing their thing, and it never looked like it was that difficult for them or whatever, like what Keith Moon on the drums, and oh my gosh, the guitar player and all that stuff. I mean, they just seemed make it look really easy, like effortless. Yeah, well, I think they're touring. I heard some Sammy recordings. Like he was doing this thing for a while. I don't know if he had a YouTube channel or if he what he was doing, but he was just kind of going and hanging out with different musicians, and they would play music. And I think, oh my gosh, I think there's a Montrose song he does with Tommy Lee, and maybe it's Joe Satriani that they do. Maybe it's Rock Candy that they do. So once again, like Sammy just does cool stuff. Like he just goes around and does cool stuff. And I heard some recordings, and his voice was still, it was still pretty good. You could tell, you know, that he's an older guy, but it was still pretty solid. So I think he's just one of those natural talents. There are just some people that just have it. I I think so. I agree. I know it was Eddie's son and all that other stuff, but I think Michael should have saw it to the end. I think they should have, because from what I hear, there wasn't really any bad blood. They just wanted Wolfgang in there. Bad Motor Scooter was Montrose, yeah. Yeah, it's Denny Carmassi was the drummer for Montrose. And I think Denny Carmassi later played with Hart, but he was playing like some kind of synth drums or something, and that music was real soft. I didn't like that stuff. It was all ballady, and I don't think anybody in the band was writing the music anymore. It was very commercial. I didn't like it. I think that Hart had more success with that incarnation. What is it, in the 80s or the 90s, whenever it was. But Art, the gold tequila is different than the silver. The gold you can sip and do shots and mix drinks with. Well, maybe I'll try it. I haven't really, when I was younger, like tequila. I like tequila just because you could shoot it and you could kind of get drunk quick. And I think it was cheap too in Southern California. But I never really liked it. It always was kind of raunchy. Hey Phil, what's up? Good morning, all. Yes, we're having a Hullaballoo celebration for Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. Oh, music talk. You guys are talking my language. Yeah, the Dio version of Sabbath was their peak as musicians. Yeah, they were. Jeff says Mammoth is the band. It was the original name of Van Halen back when they first formed. Yep, yep. I remember when I was young playing music, I remember Van Halen because they were a local band. I remember them playing around my area because I lived in the suburbs of LA. So I lived in that same area. I think the other side of LA is where I was. But they played everywhere. And so I never saw them in the day, but I remember seeing flyers. I remember there was a place called Saddleback, and it looked like a Las Vegas nightclub, like a casino, and it was right in the middle of Norwalk where I lived. And they had like great bands there. I think that Hendrix played there, Van Halen played there. I remember seeing the Runaways on the billboard there. I just remember, we'd drive by and see all these like great bands, like starting bands and stuff. I remember seeing Van Halen on the marquee there, but I was too young to get into the club, so I never saw them in the day. There's video out that you can see them in backyards and stuff. It's pretty cool. They all had like bell bottoms on and things. It was pretty funny. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Here's the link, you guys. Click that sucker. Go check it out. I got to do some promoting, so I'll come back to you guys. Let's see what Oodles is doing and other stuff too. So here we go, you guys. This is Oodles and Doodles and other stuff too. Lavish hardbound art book showcasing the various creative sides to Art T. Bear. 6,362. We are closing in on 7,000. This is fantastic. We're not even, we're about 16, 17 hours into this campaign, not even 24 hours yet. 42 backers, 60 days left. This is a 2-month campaign, you guys. Wait, what the heck was that? Yeah, so let me show the book off. We got, here's the book cover right here. It is a hardbound, lavishly printed 60-page 9x12 hardbound book, you guys. So this is the second printing of this book, but this will be a completely different version. Not completely, but there'll be a lot of new stuff. So a lot of new artwork, 2 new pages. Here's some of the artwork right here. So this is 2 new pages here. So this is a lot of CG Comicsgate stuff on here. So we got Cyber Frog, we got Mandy Summers and Del Keown's Gem-Shock, and we got Mark Polton and John Malin's Graveyard Shift character Lilith. And so we got some more Comics Gate stuff right here. We got Billy Tucci's She, work in progress commission right there, baby. So I think Billy's going to use this for something. I gave him, he let me put this in the book, and so he can use the illustration for anything he wants. So also got permission from Del Keown to add this pit print to the campaign. And then we have this 30th anniversary Juju print. So it's been 30 years since Black and White dropped in 1995, Image Comics. And so this October will be 30 years. So also volume 3 of Black and White, Sins of the Father, will be going live in October of this year. So stay tuned for that. But we're getting ahead of the promotion game here. We're giving you some early heads up, early artwork. So this is Juju, the big bad, that's going to be featured in the new storyline. So you get an early glimpse, a preview of it, if you will. We got the set A, which is the 3 prints plus a signed and numbered book. We got set B, which is the 3 prints plus signed and numbered book. We got the commemorative head sketches. So this is also celebrating the 30th of Black and White. These are the new power suits, the new designs. So these are unlike any of the Black and White doodles I've done before inside of books. So this will be inside the book on the flyleaf. That's the white sheet of paper at the beginning of the book. So, and then we had the 11x17 commission, which we completely sold out of early. And then we had the 9x12 commissions. So there's a lot of detail in those 9x12s. So let me go back up to the front. My email says we got a backer, but it's not showing yet. So let me come back and see what's going on. Let me see. Yeah, maybe it'll take a minute to catch up. So we got 3 or 4 backers this live stream. So that's pretty good, you guys. There's always room for more. Let's see what Phil has to say. Finish What You Started is my favorite Van Haegart song. There is some good stuff, I have to say. But I also have to say I never bought any of the Sammy Hagar Van Halen stuff. I never bought any of it. I think I got the greatest hits that came out later because I think there were 2 or 3 new Van Halen songs on there with David Lee Roth. Yeah, I think that's the tour that I saw as well. I wonder how sick Eddie was towards the end of that tour because I don't think he lasted much longer. Shout out to the Woodlands, Oni64. Let's see. Dio Sabbath was a breath of fresh air, closer to the 80s metal of Iron Maiden. Yeah, I'm going to listen to some of that stuff after the live stream when I start getting into drawing mode, because my gosh, man, that band was on fire. When that, I think Heaven and Hell came out first. When that album came out, I was like, this is heavy shit. The music was great. Like, I liked Dio with Rainbow, but the music, it could be heavy, but it still didn't feel worthy of Dio's voice. But Sabbath felt perfect. Yeah. And Dio's one of those just natural talents. So good. Comics reader, I saw Ozzy with, whoa, at Ozfest. Oh, that was later in 2005. It was fantastic, but Iron Maiden stole the show. Iron Maiden just has a ton of energy. That music, I don't think that's not a passive listening experience. Like when you're listening to Iron Maiden stuff, you're engaged, man. It just forces you to. I was one of those early Iron Maiden guys. Like I got the first Iron Maiden. I think it was an EP. It was an import. And at the time, like record stores were so great. They had like import sections. So you'd go through there, and there was a band called Triumph. They're from Canada. It's a little frou-frou-ish, but there was some cool stuff. The guy's voice was a little too high. But I got their first album in the imports. I got Iron Maiden there. There were a few bands I discovered in the import section. But yeah, Neon Nights. Neon Nights. Neon Nights. All right. Oh my God. I love music. I love music, you guys. An interesting fact about Chad Smith is from Detroit. He moved to California when the group Toby Reed or Red Detroit band got a record contract. Never went anywhere though. Chad's one of those drummers. I don't like his style. He when he plays, he looks a little stiff, you know. But he's a really good player, and he doesn't seem like he would fit like the Chili Peppers, but he does. There, I posted on Facebook. Nobody really responded to it, but it. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I could play it or not, but the Chili Peppers cover the Beach Boys. Let me see if this would. Hold on, it's so good. All right, hold on. Do I share it? How do I do? Okay, present. This might not work. This is an experiment, guys. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, it might work. All right, I gotta move this back before I hit play because the intro to the song is so good. All right, I'm hoping you guys can see this. I'm hoping even more that you can hear it. It's turned up. Let me turn it up. All right, here we go.
Round, round, get around, I get around, yeah. Get around, round, round, I get around. 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 I get fucked driving up and down the same old strip. I gotta find a new place where the kids are hip. My buddies and me are getting real well known. Yeah, the bad guys know it's and leave us alone. Get around, round, round, I get around. Get around, round.
It's so good, you guys. I'm probably gonna get dinged, but maybe I'll just talk through parts of it. I love this band and I love this version of it. I know it's kind of one of those sacred things. You don't cover this stuff, but especially like a band like this. There's a lot of purists out there, but I think these guys do it justice. I'm probably getting popped right now. Oh, YouTube, leave us alone. We're having fun.
We always take my car because it's never been beat. And we never missed yet with the girls we meet. And the guys go steady because it wouldn't be right to leave the best girl on Saturday night. Get around, round, round, I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around.
I don't know how they pull off the vocals, but they do. I hope there's no backing tracks or any shenanigans here because this is really good.
Get around, round, round, I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around. I get around. Get around, I get around. Yeah, get around, round, round, I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around.
So good, so good. I'm gonna come back. I know I'm pushing my luck. I hope you guys got to hear that. Rob's a wanker. Rob who? What's going on here? Hold on. Did you guys hear that? Is this a yep for the sound? Let's see what Joe says. Wait, the lead singer from the Chili Peppers is a surfer and was in the Keanu Reeves Point Break movie as a surfer punk. Keanu and Patrick Swayze. I think Flea's in that movie too. One of them gets their foot shot, right? Their foot gets shot in it. Yeah. I thought that was a great cover of that song. I'm a Boz Scaggs fan. Yeah. That in the day, I have to say that I wasn't really into it, but later, definitely. And same with like what were they called? Steely Dan, some of the more sophisticated kind of music. Bad juju, come home with me. 30 even. Yes, let's see what Joe says. Art, you're going to like this. My son's 18 vinyl collection and has the Van Halen album 84 to what is that, 5150. He's a total rocker. I've heard him play guitar. Yeah, cool stuff. My daughter played in a couple rock bands when she was younger too. She was a lead screamer. Steve Miller created a lot of hits before he went solo. You'd be surprised. You know what? I know there's people that say Steve Miller's effed out. I know it's too commercial, it's too whatever. But you know what? I like Steve Miller, and also I dig Steve Miller because I think Book of Dreams and whatever came after that, like when he had his really big hits, he produced those albums himself. Like he couldn't get it, not that he couldn't get a deal, but he didn't like the deal. So he actually hired the players and he mixed the stuff. He did it all himself. So he was like one of the early kind of indie guys. So I always thought that was cool about Steve Miller. It's good though, man. Yeah, it was surprisingly cool. Hey, Shump. I hope I said it right. You and Ethan went at it last night. I think it's one of those things, just don't call you late for dinner, right? Very, very, very talented individual, just a great contributor to Comicsgate, and has his own YouTube channel where he paints a lot and does art tutorials. So go check that stuff out. There it is. Shump. All right. Wait, the lead singer from the Chili Pepper. Oh, okay, I read that. I did jump forward a little bit. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Shump. Dude, there's a lot of people that are fans of Shump in Jetty. I think it's just the one song. Thanks, I like the Beach Boys, and I'm going to have to look that up and listen to it. What is that song? Heaven Only Knows. What is that song that the Beach Boys do? It's so good. God Only Knows. Yeah, it's God Only Knows What I'd Be Without You. Holy shit, man. I can't, just thinking about it, I get chills. The Big Boys. Haven't heard Boss Skaggs in a while. I always thought that was cool, like Skaggs. I think speaking of surfing and surf stuff, I think that little fin on the back of a surfboard is called a skag. Tying it all together. Yeah, baby. That's right. That's what we do here. We tie it all together. All right. Let me see. I'm opening some tabs, checking stuff out. Let me close this one. I don't need it anymore. Yeah. With Steely Dan? You mean that Walter Becker and what's the other guy's name? The two guys that are in that band? Because Steely Dan isn't a person. It's a thing. It's a nasty thing. Oh, that's cool. With Steve Miller? That'd be a great story to have. Okay. I had a roommate that was a huge Bruce Springsteen fan, and I never quite got the what do they call him? The Bruce's. He's got a nickname, but I never quite got it. Let me see. This is why the Hullabaloos are one of the best shows ever. I know you didn't say ever. All right. We got the Art of Roy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Music is annoying crap. What? You are a soulless man. I always think, like, people say, I don't really like music. I'm like, I can't even relate to that. Whose real name is Royce? You got to clarify. Is it like Steve Miller's real name is Royce? Royce Miller? Boz and Steve work together? Really? Wow. Becker Fagan, yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. That's awesome. Does she got any pictures or anything? That would be cool in the day. It's weird because there's a lot of stuff I did like when I was younger in the day, met people, hung out, did some cool stuff. But I was never like a guy that brought a camera or anything like that. I always thought it was kind of uncool, to take pictures and stuff like that. So I never did. So I don't have any really cool stuff documented. Oh, William Royce Skaggs. Okay. I like Boz better. The Bosnator. Boz is like short for Bosley, though, right? Where did he get Boz from? Anyway, yeah. So I don't really have any cool pictures of any of that stuff. That would be pretty neat. Roxy Petrucci, isn't that? She's a drummer, right? I think I may have taken drum lessons from Roxy Petrucci from Madam X and Vixen. When I was a kid, it was only for about a half a year. Wow, that's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. There was a music store called Downey Music where I lived. It was awesome. It was like Santa's workshop for musicians, and so I used to go in there every week. And so in the back, as most of those music shops, they would have they would give lessons or have different musicians that would come in. I don't know how they did it, if they rented the soundproof rooms and then had their students and they would do the their teachings there. But there was a guy. There were people that I met when I was younger and I just knew they were going to be huge. And uh, and this guy just, he carried himself with confidence. He looked the part. Um, everybody in the store treated him with respect. That guy was Randy Rhodes, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, there's things that you remember, and like we auditioned. Like, I had a killer band, bass, drums, and guitar, and we were looking for a singer, so we drove into LA, and we auditioned Don Dokken to sing for the band. It turned out that that dude had it together, man. Even that young, it was his parents' garage, and we drove all the way into LA, and it turns out he was auditioning us, not the other way around. So that didn't go anywhere. But I had like several brushes with greatness. Uh, we used to open for this band called Dante Fox, mostly in Orange County and around that area. That dude, Jack, whatever his name, that dude's a punk, man. He stalked my girlfriend, like at her place of employment, everything. Like, place of employment, she worked at Jack in the Box, but that guy, he hung out there way too much, and I knew, like, that dude's a creep. But anyway, we used to open for Dante Fox, which later became Great White. And then the guitar player for that band sold sunglasses at the swap meet, and I worked concessions at one of the local swap meets when I was very young. So it's kind of neat. You meet some of these people, and then they become semi-great or great. She was sizzling hot. Was that Roxy Petrucci? They had that one guitar player. I think she died, sadly. I think she was the standout talent for me. I thought she was pretty good. Randy. Yeah, that guy, man. You talk about leaving an imprint, a everlasting imprint in music within just a few short years. And I guess I wonder if when I saw him, if he was playing for what the hell was that band? The Come Feel the Noise people, Quiet Riot. Because Quiet Riot used to open up for a lot of bands that came into town. I think there was like the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, and I think Quiet Riot opened up for a lot of bands there. High school friend of mine is lead singer for Jakey Lee's band, Red Dragon Cartel, also drummer for a Canadian band, Harem. Oh, Harem Scarum. Oh, I know Harem Scarum. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I thought you hated music. Or were you just joking? All right, you guys. Well, that should be wrapping up this Good Morning Hullaballoo. And I hope I hope it was entertaining. If there's any stragglers, welcome. This is the Morning Hullaballoo. I'm your host, RT Bear, and I have a new campaign for my art book. It's called Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. I'm going to drop a link in the chat. There's also one in the description. So click that bad boy. Go back it if you like it. Back it. And here's the link right here. And let's keep this thing going. We got a long way to go still, but we got a really good start. I want to thank everybody for supporting not just Oodles, but everything I do, for hanging out with me, for promoting these projects, and for backing, putting down some of your green. I do appreciate it. And once again, not hyperbole. The only reason I'm here is because of you guys. So You are making this stuff happen. Without the financial support, none of this can happen. So I'm glad you enjoy what I'm doing, and we'll continue to support stuff. So thanks again, you guys. Have a great day, and I will see you later on Andy Smith's channel, 7 Eastern Standard Time, for the Professionals. We're going to spill some ink tonight, and the following week will be on my channel. We will spill some more ink, and that is, we pretty much don't get into any shenanigans, and it's all about comic books. So if you love comic book talk, come check us out. You won't regret it. So take care, you guys. Be good to each other, and I'll see you soon.